Test. That one works. Good afternoon. Welcome to the Brangus Pin Show at the Cattlemen's Congress. We're going to get started here momentarily. I'd like to introduce our judge today, a gentleman known to all of us from our time here at the Oklahoma State Fair. He's judged open shows for us in the past, and it's a pleasure today to welcome Mr. Richie Oakes from here in Oklahoma to evaluate our pin show. We have 3 pins today representing 2 programs. Cattle will come in here to my left. They will come into the ring one at a time for Mr. Oakes to evaluate. They'll assimilate again on the right and come back out as a set to be evaluated. As each pin works through its way through the ring, then Mr. Oakes will give a final placing at the very end. So at this time, I'd like to call entry 2262 from GKB Brangus. First heifer in the ring is 88J3. She was born April 9th of 2021. Mr. Oakes does have the EPD profiles of each of these heifers to use at his discretion. GKB Brangus is headquartered in Desdemona, Texas, and is a breeder of black Brangus, red Brangus, and ultra Brangus. Okay, the second heifer. Assisting us in the ring today are members of the IJBBA Board of Directors. Thank you guys for helping out. The second member of our first pin is herd number 38J, born March 21st of 2021. The third entry in the first pin, coming from GKB, is 1252 J3, born March 15th of 2021. All three heifers will now come back into the ring to be evaluated as a group. Okay, so that is entry 2262 from GKB Brangus. Our second pin entry is 2261 from MP Brangus of Crawford, Texas. First heifer in the ring is 767 J12, born March 29th of 2021. The second member of the entry from MP Brangus is 767J, born March 22nd of 2021. And the third member of the pen is 804J8, born March 20th of 2021. Again, MP Brangus, headquartered in Crawford, Texas, breeder of Black Brangus and Ultra Brangus. Our third entry in our female pin show from GKB Brangus. Entry 2266, first member, 767 J18, born March 19th of 2021. Second member of our third pin, 329J4, born January 12th of 2021. That is the third member of pin 3, 329J12, born January 7th of 2021. As our groups reassemble, they will come in together as a group to be evaluated by Mr. Oakes and placed. So we certainly want to thank GKB Brangus and MP Brangus for their support of the Brangus Pin Show. This is the second year of us having this here at Cattlemen's Congress. The IBBA believes this can be a very vital and valuable part of our show program, and so we encourage all members and breeders to aspire to be part of this pin show. As members of our association know, we do have a pin show also at the Brangus Futurity in the summertime. The only difference is that is an unhaltered show. So encourage our exhibitors and breeders and members to maybe plan for that also this summer in Belton. Here with us today to present the awards is the IBBA Queen, Ms. Paige Dupree from Florida, as well as additional members of the IJBBA Board of Directors assisting us. So for our spectators in the stands around the rings, just to review what we have in here before us is our junior heifer calves, calved May 1st, 2021 and earlier. We call this our late pin. First entry on your far left from GKB Brangus, born April 9th to March 15th. Our second entry from MP Brangus, with a date of birth age span of March 29th to March 20th. And then our third entry from GKB Brangus, ranging in age from January 19th to January 7th.
Well, I say it's an honor for me to sort the Cattlemen's Congress and do the IBBA Western National Pin Show. This is a really impressive group of females. The females that I think coming in and out, I think every one of these females that came through here has a place in the industry. Every one of them has a place in someone's a breeding program. I'm just really, really impressed with these animals. I'm going to start with the pin on my left. I think these pin, I think they fit together for me the best. They're whenever you get them on the move, they're the most structurally correct. They move around. They're really high quality females. That's got a lot of rib to them. out in my country, I know I live in a different country than some people do, but you've got to have cattle with a lot of rib and a lot of capacity to work out on the range. But I really like this pen. They're going to be your first place pen, so congratulations. It gets a little closer between second and third, and a wise man once told me just get the good ones to the top and let the structure sort them out. And there's some give and take in both of these pins, but I'm gonna use this middle pin for my reserve champion pin. Both the champion and reserve pin, they have one female that's really outstanding, and I really love this female on this end. It gets one. They've got one female that's maybe not quite as good on her hind wheels as some of the other, but she is a really powerful, as you view her from the rear, just a really nice pin. Their EPDs are all balanced really good. Congratulations on that pin. Congratulations for being reserved. The pin that places third, I think if we'd had 10 pins out here, these would have still been third. Really nice set of March calves. I really like their eye peel, really like the way they move around the ring. Good job. Let's congratulate these pen exhibitors. And once again, thanks for the IBBA for asking me to officiate your pen show at the Cattlemen's Congress. Thank you.
A very high quality show we have here. We again thank GKB and MP Brangus for participating here and supporting the show. Your champion pin today is entry 2266 from GKB Brangus. This is the oldest pin, range January born heifers. Reserve grand champion pin from MP Brangus of Crawford, Texas, with a set of March born heifers. And then third in the class today from GKB Brangus. So again, thank you everybody for your participation and your support. We look to grow this each year. Again, so congratulate our champions, and we'll look forward to our junior show and open show tomorrow morning, starting at 8 o'clock with the junior show in the Jim Norwick Arena. Following this event, we are having a social before the exclusive sale, which begins at 4 o'clock. I believe the social is going to be in the gathering area outside of the sailor ring. So we look forward to seeing all the Brangus enthusiasts over there here shortly. Thank you, everybody, and have a good afternoon.
What show is it 3? It's the Sleer show. It was supposed to be over in that other arena. Oh, okay. We moved it over here. Okay.
Mic check. Just waiting on.
Get on
Johnny
hang
Rash.
it.
It's hot in here.
It is hot.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Love you. Bye. Bye. Yes, we are.
Alright, so rosettes, banners, that type of stuff, they should be.
Yeah, we'll go get those.
We can go get this for you.
Yeah. No problem.
I didn't know, they said that that's.
We were just told to go.
not gonna be probably trouble down here for you.
And she'll take that clipboard and get out in the ring. Or we get her chair and set over there, however you want to do it.
know. We'll just have to wait and see how many people they,
Show up with.
if he's bringing 2 girls to him. That'd be 3. And then if there's somebody here worth running this car,
We'll find out how many he's got coming. We got a chair set down there. You up here, clipboard? How's your clipboard?
Just gonna steal my drinks right here. So.
You're drinking all the heavy there, Earl. I move them chairs over there.
Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Cattlemen's Congress Slayers and Optimizers show. We're going to get things started this afternoon with our Class 1 early heifer calves.
All right, well, good afternoon. I'm excited to be out here judging your Salier cattle. We've got a February individual here to get us kicked off in the Pure Junior Show. A really shapely kind of female here, one that just brings you a lot of different shapes in the right places. You love the rib cage in her, love the hip shape and stifle that she brings to you. A really extended kind of individual. Wish that maybe she carried some of that power down to the surface with a notch more consistency and maybe reached out and grabbed with a little more authority on those rear two, but a really youthful and shapely kind of individual that I think will stack up great in the drive.
All right, your results for Class 1 early heifer calves. First place goes to back number 724, GGT Bloom 6160J, owned by Brooklyn Matlock of Cement, Oklahoma. Also want to go ahead and take this time to introduce our judge. He'll be spending his time with us this afternoon, Mr. Taylor Shackleford. Taylor currently resides here in Oklahoma City and is a leadership development consultant. Originally, he hails from North Texas, where he grew up showing Heifers and club calves. His family still raises Heifers and club calves to this day. Taylor graduated from Texas Tech University with a degree in Ag Communications and was also a member of the Texas Tech National Champion Livestock Judging Team. So once again, thank you, Taylor, for being here, and congratulations to our first class winner. And at this time, we have Class 4A Junior Yearling Heifers entering the ring with a single entry.
Another single here, and we jump up to next February with this one. Honestly, this young lady's got kind of a pattern that she likes in her females, and I got to tell you that I'm impressed with it. Female, again, that brings you just a ton of spring, maybe not the most amount of depth for the length that she's got, but a female that's got the right kind of rib cage, the right kind of hip and muscle shape there. Going to add a lot to that next generation. You could probably talk about her structure in the same manner that you talked the last female, though I do think she's a little bit probably flatter and more feminine in her joint work. I like this one a good deal.
And congratulations, your results for Class 4A Junior Yearling Heifer. First place goes to back number 725, GGT Wellers 469H, exhibited by Brooklyn Matlock of Cement, Oklahoma. Up next, we have Class 4B Junior Yearling Heifers with 2 entries.
Definitely two high-quality, heavy-bred January females here in this pair. I won't place them exactly right now. I'll talk them and tell you the differences that I see and then tell you how I think I like them. I'll talk about the young lady who's up here at the front of the line first, a female that sort of similar to the younger heifers that we've seen in this show so far, really brings that shape and the muscle pattern that you like to see from this breed. Love the shapes that she draws through that center rib. I could be critical of the shape that she is right behind her shoulder, just gets a little more tight there in her heart and forerib, and not quite as consistent in terms of volume through the center section of her body. And a female that, too, is not quite as consistent when she gets around the ring. Wants to kind of paddle just a little bit off her front, too, and not really reach out and go off those rear. I think it's probably because she's got a calf squeezed up in there, and she's coming to us just a notch fuller there and carrying some of that fill to the top side of her spine out here. Maybe not the most comfortable time for her in her life, but I think that if you get your stop and study her angles, this female's got a world of future in her. She's definitely sound enough to go out and make a cow. I don't think that's an issue. You've got one that probably is a little more elite in her structure here behind her. I'm not telling you that it's the most beautiful thing in the world. She does get a little shorter about her hip and carry her hind leg up under herself on the go, but a female that definitely has a little more set and relaxation there to her joint work, is a little more collected and cool as she gets around the ring. It's beyond that, though, that though she's more extended, I guess, you get a little bit looser in terms of just the dewlap that she carries there to the front side of her skeleton. One that definitely is a little bit more maternal, maybe in the rib cage that she's sitting on the center section there. Just not quite as snazzy to look at, but you know, a more rugged, more big boned, big featured kind of option. I think the decision comes down to which one is your style, and the style for me is going to land on the young lady's heifer here today. She's going to win this close pair. Young man, that's a good one there in second.
All right, your results for Class 4B Junior Yearling Heifers. First place goes to back number 727, JCGC Heidi 012H, exhibited by Brittany Hirsch of Thayer, Missouri. Second place, back number 726, CBH Harmony 006H, exhibited by Christian Hirsch, also of Thayer, Missouri. At this time, we will bring back your class winners and show for Grand Champion Slears Junior Heifer.
Well, for only having 4 head, this is quite the lineup that you've got out here for your champion junior pure Solaire female. I'm not going to talk about each of them individually. I think that we've done that pretty recently here, and what it comes down to whenever you're picking a champion ultimately is picking which one is just more your kind and more your style. For me, there's one that has everything that I'm looking for, but I like the structural package that she comes in for that reason. Young lady in the middle, you're going to be our champion Solaire female. We'll follow her up with our oldest class for reserve.
Hey, congratulations. Your grand champion, Solaire's Junior Heifer, goes to back number 725, GGT Wellers 469, exhibited by Brooklyn Matlock of Cement, Oklahoma. Your reserve champion, Solaire's Junior Heifer, goes to back number 727, JCGC Heidi 012H, exhibited by Brittany Hirsch of Thayer, Missouri. Congratulations to all of our junior Solaire's exhibitors. We'd also like to thank the Arkansas Junior Solaire's Association for sponsoring those banners. And up next, we're going to roll right into our Optimizer Junior Heifer Show, starting with Class 5A Late Spring Heifer Calves. All right, at this time, we're going to bring in all of our Optimizer Junior Heifers. We have 4 classes, each single entries. So we will select our Grand Champion and Reserve Grand Champion Optimizer Junior Heifer. From Class 5A for late spring heifer calves, we have back number 728, FFCC Glamorous Guppy 390J, exhibited by Lauren Frederick of Hutchinson, Kansas. From Class 5C, early heifer calves, we have back number 730, GGT Riva 204J, exhibited by Bailey Matlock of Seaman, Oklahoma. From Class 6, senior heifer calves, we have back number 731, that's Harper 773, exhibited by Ashley Schrag of Mound Ridge, Kansas. And from Class 8, spring yearling heifer calves, we have back number 732, GGT label 650H, exhibited by Bailey Matlock of Cement, Oklahoma.
Well, just four again here in the Optimizer Junior Show, and we'll talk about each of these individually as they're all single entry class winners. To start off with your March heifer calf up here, a female that just really brings a lot of freshness and presence out here to us, a big structured kind of heifer, really big middled. The female that truly just hits you as maternal and as one that can really add a lot to the next generation out here. You know, I'd be the first to admit that she'd probably be a little bit neater if she was more whistle fronted, but that doesn't bother me too much. I like the way that she's built and the angles that she sets. As she gets around the ring, she does kind of pinch ever so slightly right there around her loin and kind of want to twist off of her rear too, but like I mentioned, I still call her incredibly sound. I love those angles that she draws, and to handle that kind of feature and stoutness, I think that's impressive. Back behind her, the January female here, one that looks a little bit kind of like a yearling should at this stage, a little bit more longer than she is deep at this point, just kind of getting away from us there on our frame and length, but when she starts to body down, she's got the right kind of rib cage, one that again is really refined and kind of attractive in the features that she brings out here. If you're going to get critical of her, you know, she probably just doesn't have quite the depth and the oomph out here by comparison to some of the females that stand on either side of her, but like I said, brings a lot of attractiveness, a lot of femininity to the game. The power heifer is right here in the September female. This brown tinge female has just got shape running throughout, shapes all over. You know, being that shapely, it's sometimes difficult to fit them all into one package and fit them all together. I don't know that she quite does that for us out here. She sends her neck more generic, more out the middle of her skeleton there, and doesn't quite want to operate with the most flexibility and longevity off those rear two, but a female that, like I said, brings a ton of power to the next generation, a nice package for that young lady to go home and breed on. And then you've got the final female here, our bred heifer, one that's really extended in her kind of a combination tandem female with all the pieces that kind of work together. Is she the biggest structured? No. Is she probably the most comfortable in terms of the angulation to her front 1/3? I'm also going to say no there too, but I think she's plenty acceptable. I think that I like what she does put together in the package that she brings us, and there's just not a lot of reason to criticize much further there. For me, this is a really good lineup here. I'm really pleased with just the forehead that we've got out here. It's a pretty logical decision for me. Young lady at the front of the line, congratulations, you're our champion optimizer. If you guys will put your hands together for her, and I'll go out and select you a reserve.
And congratulations to back number 728, FCC Glamorous Guppy 390J, exhibited by Lauren Frederick of Hutchinson, Kansas, with her grand champion optimizer junior heifer. And congratulations, your reserve champion optimizer junior heifer goes to back number 732, GGT label 650H, exhibited by Bailey Matlock of Cement, Oklahoma. All right, at this time, we're going to show Class 14F Early Spring Yearling Heifers that calved from March 2020. After this class, we will have our champion drive and select your grand champion optimizer female and reserve champion optimizer female. Also, we would like to thank the Oklahoma Junior Salers Association for sponsoring the Optimizer Junior Heifer banners for that last drive.
Well, I'll talk these two as individuals, even though one of them was just reserve of the show that we had prior. I'll talk about the gentlemen's here at the back of the line first, a female that really just blends together really neatly, really square from the ground up, a bigger boned kind of female that hits you with just a notch more power, and a female that when you get in behind her, you're certainly not disappointed, big-chested, a little coarser about her teat work there maybe, just a female that isn't quite the most maybe feminine thing you've ever seen, but I think that you've got to have a powerful cow to make a powerful next generation, and so I appreciate those things about her. We called the young lady's heifer when we saw her in the junior show the combination female, and I stand by that. She does have just enough of everything to really go together and be a nice package, but when you get her out here by comparison, she's just not quite as deep, she's just not quite as maternal through that center section there, and doesn't take that stoutness and shapeliness that we appreciate about her all the way down to the surface with so much consistency as you find right behind her. For that reason, I'm going to leave you in second out here, young lady. Congratulations to the gentleman behind you. You'll win this class for us.
All right, congratulations. Your results for Class 14F, Early Spring Yearling Heifers. First place goes to back number 706, JB Holly 2H, exhibited by Jace Belts of Canton, Kansas. Second place goes to back number 715, GGT Label 650H, exhibited by Bailey Matlock of Cement, Oklahoma. We'd like to thank our Grand Champion banner sponsor, Rowell Cattle Company, and also like to thank our Division Award sponsors, Larry Wright Cattle Company, GG&T Cattle Company, and DFO Cattle Services.
Well, I had to apologize to the young lady out here with our Class 4 representative, a female that we hadn't seen yet, so we'll go ahead and talk her individually before we talk about how I think she stacks up against the rest of the line out here. This female brings a ton of power and a ton of width out here, a lot of dimension working through her skeleton. Maybe not the most feminine thing you've ever seen, but you got to appreciate just the width through the center portion of her skeleton. If we could rearrange her and maybe flatten her in a little bit neater, more feminine and more extended there through her front 1/3 relative to what lies behind it, I think that you like her a lot better on the standstill. Even when she's on the move, though, I just still need to see her a notch more flexible to really be out here and give it a go for overall champion Solera female or Solera balancer female out here. But with the rest of the 4 represented, we talked about each of those already. You come back down here to the class winner and my champion from the last show, a female that just brings you a lot of freshness and a lot of look out here. How she stacks up against the rest of the competition is I think she's just one of the smoothest blending females that we've got. You know, she's probably not the biggest in her heart, the biggest in her forerib at this stage, but she is the youngest out here represented, and so I think that that comes with time. You criticize her for the way that she moves. I think that that's only to be done very speculatively. I think that's a female that's still incredibly sound structured, and I like the way that she angles up whenever she's on the standstill too. Come back down here to the end of the line. These are my 2 favorites out here that I'm deciding between. Our March Heavy Bred, a female that really puts a lot together in terms of just being a combination kind of cow prospect. She's big in the places that she needs to be, but not overpowering. You like the smooth power that she lays on her muscle skeleton there. A female that's a little bit coarser in some areas, though. Maybe not quite as fresh as you find at the other end of the line out here. For that reason, I think there's one that just grabs your eye a little bit quicker out here today. Young lady with that calf, you're going to win this open show too, and we'll follow her right up with that oldest female for reserve.
All right, congratulations. Your grand champion optimizer female goes to back number 701, FFCC Glamorous Guppy, 390J, exhibited by Lauren Frederick of Hutchinson, Kansas. Your reserve champion optimizer female goes to back number 706, JB Holly 2H, exhibited by Jace Belts of Canton, Kansas. Once again, congratulations to all of our optimizer female exhibitors. All right, up next, we will get to our Optimizer Bull Show. We'd like to thank our sponsor, Rowell Cattle Company, for sponsoring the Optimizer Bull Show.
Well, quite the presence to start off the Optimizer Bull Show here. A nice young bull, blaze-faced option with a lot of pizzazz. You like the power that he brings out here, but it's not overwhelming. It lays on his skeleton quite adequately and still gives him an ounce of smoothness or an attitude of smoothness as you look at him from front to rear. Where you get critical of this guy probably is just in his hip and hind leg construction. Just wants to falter ever so slightly as he takes out and steps on those rear two, but perhaps that's a management issue. Those toes are getting kind of close together, and I think his angulation is right as you study him on the standstill here. That one's going to make a really nice addition to this young lady's herd.
And congratulations, your grand champion, Optimizer Bull, goes to back number 722, PH Bedrock 3J, exhibited by Sagiitis of Alden, Iowa. All right, at this time we have Class 2 late spring heifer calves in the ring.
Well, a nice pair of March heifers to kick off your pure open show, and I'll talk about the young ladies here at the end. She'll be your class winner in this deal. A female that's just more pulled apart at the underside of her skeleton. You see more daylight at her chest floor there, a little bit bigger stature as she goes to the surface, and then still a little bit bigger and more robust in that center section there, just a notch more maternal in her overall kind. I think that both these females could be cleaned up just a shot to make you like them a little bit nicer, a little bit zipper fronted, but a female that as long as she keeps that chest floor in her, I really like that depth and spring that she brings us to this intersection there. A really powerful kind of cow option. The female that's coming next, one that really is extended from end to end, really square in her kind. Just wish that we could pull her apart and widen that gauge throughout that center part of her skeleton. A female that just needs time to catch up with the frame and the extension that she's got, but a really classy kind of option to round out this class.
And your results for Class 2 late spring heifer calves. Congratulations. First place goes to back number 703, TTG Blossom Julia 40J, exhibited by Taylor Gearing in McPherson, Kansas. Second place goes to back number 702, TTG Justina 43J, exhibited by Taylor Gearing of McPherson, Kansas. And at this time, we have Class 4 early junior heifer calves in the ring.
There you go. Come on in the center. And set her up right there. A pair of January heifers here, really different in their type and kind. You've got a really shapely kind of option here that I think just has more genuine width, working through her entire skeleton, just built a little bit bolder and wider. Not as big-footed, not as big structured, but a female that I think has a notch more angulation to that front 1/3 and to that knee. And I like her foot shape and just the way that she gets out and goes a notch neater. She is the more shapely option of the two, therefore I'll be the first to admit she's a little bit rounder off of either end of her skeleton. Just wants to round ever so slightly out of her hip into the base of her shoulder there, but still one that I think you call feminine, still one that, like I said, I think gives you a little bit more to go on. Not to take away from the one that we've got rounding out this class. That's a really deep-sided, really cowy looking one from the profile. It's just as we watch her get out and go, she's a little more restricted on those rear two than I'd like to see. You step off on a front 3/4 of her and she just doesn't quite have the rib shape that you want to see. She's a little bit flatter when you get onto that upper rib and forerib there. Two really good January heifers that push each other to the end.
And your results from Class 4 early junior heifer calves. Congratulations. First place goes to back number 705, GGT Bloom 160J, exhibited by Brooklyn Matlock of Seaman, Oklahoma. Second place goes to back number 704, WWB Jillian 34J, exhibited by Fox Grape Farm of Piney River, Virginia.
Good to see this female back out here in the open show. A female that really brings a lot of shapes to the table there. Not the deepest in her heart or the most robust in her forerib or the stoutest to the surface, but one that puts a big combination package together in a really attractive and stylish kind of manner. Good on her feet and legs. Good to see her back out here. We'll see how she stacks up in the final line.
And congratulations. Your results from Class 10 junior yearling heifers. First place goes to back number 707, GGT Willers 469H, exhibited by Brooklyn Matlock of Cement, Oklahoma. Up next, we have Class 11 Junior Yearling Heifers entering the ring with 2 entries.
We'll leave this pair as they come to us here. One that we've seen also in a past life, but still I think you've got a tie to just the little bit edgy, more squareness, a little bit more shapeliness that you find in the female here at the front of the lineup, and that's not to take away from the structural integrity that you've got coming in second here, but that's a really nice pair.
And your results from Class 11 Junior Yearling Heifers. Congratulations. First place goes to back number 709, JCGC Heidi 012H, exhibited by Brittany Hirsch of Thayer, Missouri. Second place goes to back number 708, CBH Harmony 006H, exhibited by Christian Hirsch of Thayer, Missouri.
We see these females back out here for a division, and I think that where you've got to place your priorities in this lineup is just in structural integrity and skeleton here. Nothing to take away from the female up here at the front of the line. I just don't like how she pushes that shoulder and kind of wants to swing that knee ever so slightly. For that reason, I'm going to give the advantage to the young ladies there behind her. You'll be the division champion, and we'll follow her up with you, young lady, for reserve.
All right. Congratulations. Your senior champion heifer goes to back number 707, GT Willers 469H, exhibited by Brooklyn Matlock of Cement, Oklahoma. Your reserve champion senior heifer goes to back number 709, JCGC Heidi 012H, exhibited by Brittany Hirsch of Thayer, Missouri. As we're getting our cattle lined up here for our grand drive, we would like to thank some of the sponsors again. The division awards were sponsored by Larry Wright Cattle Company, GG&T Cattle Company, and DFO Cattle Services. So once again, thank you to those sponsors that help make this show and those banners available for our exhibitors, and certainly couldn't do it without them. Once again, for those of you that are just joining us, we would like to thank our judge, Mr. Taylor Shackleford here of Oklahoma City, for spending his afternoon with us and lining up the Optimizer and Salier's classes.
Well, it's been a relatively quick day so far, but the quality has not been lacking. And even in this lineup of 3 here, I am really pleased with what we find ourselves in front of. You've got a March heifer up here at the front that's probably the biggest in her skeleton, the biggest footed, the squarest footed. Love the flexibility that she has on the go. It's not probably the prettiest in how she carries her spine, but I think that she's sound for days. A female that brings you a lot of turn and shape to that midrib, and plenty of width and stoutness when you get off on that front 3/4 and behind her. At this stage, she's really extended and really kind of growing on us here. When she bodies down and really starts to woof up like what you find toward the end of this lineup here, I think that her best days are only ahead of her. As a bred, I'd be excited to get a good look at her. You've got a little cleaner fronted option here that comes in the second class there. Female that comes back out here, really proportionate in her kind. We talked about her in the junior show even for that same advantage, and I think she brings that to us out here yet again. Maybe a little more refined to the surface, maybe not quite as bold in her pieces that she lays on her skeleton, but again, one that fits it together really nicely for us. A really attractive kind of package on her too. And then you come back to the oldest heifer here, the one who came out of that division with the most competition there, a female that is really shapely in her pattern, is really maternal through that center rib there, not the biggest hearted, not the biggest in her forerib, and not the biggest at the surface, but she is a good combination kind of cattle. I wish she was maybe dropping a more consistent teat development and udder development there, but a female that's going to go out into the pasture, I think, and still have all the right pieces to make a really nice cow prospect for that young lady's herd. I think it's a close call between either end of the line up here. For me, I just got to go with that older heifer here today. I like what she's laying on that skeleton. Congratulations, young lady. We'll bring in your reserve division for reserve contention.
And congratulations, your grand champion heifer goes to back number 707, GT Willers 469H, exhibited by Brooklyn Matlock of Cement, Oklahoma.
You bring in the reserve out of our oldest division, and one that, again, is at that stage of maturity where she's starting to kind of look like a cow prospect, one that's a little more refined in her teat and udder development there, a female that really is proportionate in the lines that she draws you down top or down